Welcome back to the Chroncast, everybody. I am Alex Rickman, your host, editor and head writer at Canucks Chronicles and club reporter at Altitude FC. Joining me, as always, is Kaja Antic from Game Over Vancouver. Kaja, how are you?
I'm sick, so I sound like this, so apologies, audio listeners, but otherwise, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Let's just get right into it with the biggest news of the week, really, in the Canucks world. New seats. We are getting new seats at Rogers Arena. We have seen pictures of the installation, and crucially, they have cup holders.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, my shoes would have liked that in the 2022 last game of the season. Brock Besser OT winner against the Los Angeles Kings in Dustin Brown's last NHL regular season game. When I had a Mike's Hard Lemonade spill all over the aisle. Anyway, that wasn't my fault. But yeah, I don't know. They look cool. I really didn't see the seats as a big issue, but I don't know. The team made a whole thirst trap for them on their Instagram, so... Oh, come on. I'm not wrong.
You're right. It's just I didn't ever expect to hear thirst trap used in relation to seats.
You can make a... No, I'm not going to say that on recording. You're writing down the timestamp?
Probably should.
Oh no, that was it. Yeah, I was just like, I don't want... you can make a thirst trap out of anything.
So anywho, cup holders will be a big addition.
Have you never seen this guy trade thirst traps? Cup holders, yep. Have you never?
We have not made it 2 minutes into this episode.
Wee. Yeah.
Okay, so I can say in my experience, the old seats, while not necessarily a huge problem, they weren't good. Some of them were slightly dissolving, which is less than ideal.
The whole arena's dissolving, dude.
Dissolving at a faster rate than the rest of the arena?
Fair enough.
Also, I do agree with the complaint that the burgundy seats looked a little weird for a team that play in blue and green, so I like having a more neutral color in the black seats. They also just look way more comfortable, and again, cup holders.
Yeah, I don't know.
That look a lot sturdier than the BC Place cup holders. If you know, you know.
Crack. I don't know. They look cool. I like the old ones, but that's just because I thought they were comfy. But you know what? C'est la vie. It's seats in an arena. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. We've been told there might be more arena upgrades going on at some point in the future. We don't know what exactly those are. I'd still like a practice facility before we go too deep into that. Or a better team.
Or a head coach.
A head coach. And getting into that, let's just segue to...
Yeah.
Seems like the Canucks are working down their list of potential head coaches.
Yeah, it's me. I'm here to announce that in my coach-issued Canucks jacket that I am officially the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. That's the only reason I bought this jacket.
Canucks Chronicles exclusive.
Canucks Chronicles exclusive. I am the next head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. No. Yeah, it's Canucks Legends. This was a post I saw on Instagram. I forgot who put it out there. I apologize. But it was Canucks legend Manny Malhotra and Marco Sturm are the top candidates, apparently.
Yes.
So, Manny Malhotra, we've talked at length about him. Currently the head coach of the Abbotsford Canucks, who, for the first time in franchise history, made it to their third round of playoffs. They're going to be playing the Colorado Eagles in the Pacific Division semifinal or finals. Pacific Division Finals. So good luck to them. I believe that starts this week. And then Marco Sturm as well, who is currently the head coach, I believe, of the Ontario Reign.
Mm-hmm.
So the LA Kings affiliate.
And famously played, I believe it was a grand total of 6 games as a member of the Vancouver Canucks in his final NHL season.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. So from what I've seen, the Canucks are planning to whittle their list down to 3 or 4 head coaches who will be getting second interviews in the coming weeks. Seems like Malhotra and Sturm are 2 of the 3 to 4. We don't know who the others would be. If those are the first 2 guys on the list, that's, I would say, a fairly encouraging sign. It's in the sense that they seem to be looking for a bit of a more modern voice as opposed to the names all being guys just from the random coaching carousel. Like, if I heard there were multiple interviews going to, like, let's say, Peter Laviolette, I can't even remember who else is available from the just random cycle of head coaches, but, like, we talked about this on a past episode. Go listen to that and you can hear us list more names.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I like that. It's an encouraging sign. I would say if he's available, Todd Nelson would be my higher look because just of his, like, continued success in Hershey. But overall, these candidates are pretty good. I'm just, again, worried about Malhotra being brought up too soon.
Yeah. Like, for me, I would still say my number 1 candidate would be Jay Woodcroft if he is available. We've heard of some level of mutual interest. I don't know if that's continued or if he maybe didn't interview well or isn't interested even potentially. But I do think, like, again, it seemed like they're going for a more modern voice as opposed to something else. So I like that. The lack of much in the way of NHL experience is kind of interesting, but again, coaches who are just constantly available in the carousel tend to be available for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, lack of NHL experience, or lack of league experience, I mean, it worked out for the Vancouver Whitecaps and Ted Lasso, so it'll work out. Yeah!
Ted Lasso.
It did. Eventually, they got relegated, but that doesn't exist in the NHL, so it's fine.
Damn it. But yeah, so it's interesting. I haven't seen as much AHL hockey as I would have liked, so I don't necessarily know too much about styles of play. It's encouraging seeing like how prospects have been developed in Abbotsford with a guy like Malhotra to see what we get, but again, I don't know how his style is going to translate. I've heard some worried that he plays a little too safe necessarily to have success in the NHL, but we'll see how that goes. Yeah. This will be an interesting next couple of weeks. I wonder if it'll be after the AHL play. Certainly if it was Malhotra, it'll be after Abbotsford are eliminated that we make the hire, but I do wonder how long we'll wait to actually make a hire. That'll, again, depend on who's interviewing as well. If it's active AHL coaches, you'll have to let their season end. If it's someone like Jay Woodcroft, you might not have to make that wait. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably until the end of the AHL playoffs so that they can interview everybody. Because, like, if Malhotra's one of their candidates, if Nelson's one of their candidates, then they're going to want to wait a bit. And, you know, Hershey's still in a role. Sorry, I'm really gunning for this one guy. But, yeah. I don't know. It couldn't be the worst coaching decision in the NHL this week.
No, probably not. Let's get into this one a little bit. So the Anaheim Ducks have hired a head coach. Joel Quenneville, former head coach of the Florida Panthers and the Chicago Blackhawks, has been hired by the Anaheim Ducks to be the next head coach of their franchise. Kaja, what do we think of the hire here?
Okay, I'm going to copy something I saw on a video on Instagram again, but I forgot the person's username. But it was like, because the Anaheim Ducks released a statement about hiring Quenneville, and the video, they're just like, yeah, if you have to release a statement like this on hiring a head coach, he's probably not the best fit to be a head coach. And it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be allowed. We keep giving so many of these awful men second chances, third chances, fourth chances over and over again, and nothing about the sport ever changes. So yeah, shame on you and Anaheim Ducks. I hope you continue to stay at the bottom of the Pacific.
Anything else we have to add on this, or should we just shift gears a little bit?
Let's all remember he wrote that recommendation letter. Anyway.
So let's Sticking with kind of a coaching rumor theme, so we've heard that former Canucks head coach Rick Tocchet, according to Darren Drager, is likely to land an NHL head coaching job within the next week or two.
Why?
Seems like the three leading candidates for his services are the Philadelphia Flyers, the Boston Bruins, and the Seattle Kraken. Kaja, any of these teams you were hoping to see our former head coach, who you were such a big fan of, land with?
Boston, because I do not like them, so their further downfall will bring me more joy. And Seattle, because that would just be really funny. I'm less inclined for Philly, because they just escaped John Tortorella. I feel like they need like a buffer of like a coach that doesn't make them hate everything. So there's that. Yeah. Anyway, you have your points.
So recently, Ken Holland was hired as the general manager of the LA Kings.
Oh right, yes.
Or it appears that Ken Holland will be joining the LA Kings as their general manager. I celebrated this news massively because Ken Holland is rather terrible at his job, and therefore will weaken another Pacific Division team. The same logic, I believe, should apply here, where Rick Tocchet, who I think is not a good coach in the modern NHL, if we can take another Pacific Division team out, that would increase our odds of being able to get back on track. Seattle, give this man a blank check. Get him coaching the Kraken. Stay in the basement. Do not get in the way of the Canucks' path back to success.
I can't wait for the Vegas Golden Knights to eventually implode, which it looks like they might be doing right now. We haven't talked about playoffs yet, but they might be doing that. Yeah, I'm waiting for that to happen so that we get like a first, like the Pacific Division of like Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary, and then like a San Jose wild card. That's my dream. That's my dream.
Yeah. Otherwise, Philly, for the players' sake, for the sake of your young guys, you have Matt Van Michkov, you have Jamie Drysdale, you have guys like this, you have dynamic young presences.
Put them on the power play.
Rick Tocchet is not the guy you want coaching those dynamic young forwards. You want to give them a chance to breathe here. They've just gotten, like you said, free of John Tortorella. Give them a coach who's going to let him breathe.
Case in point, any of the Canucks offensive players that weren't Connor Garland. Or JC Miller for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you can't bring in Phil Kessel because he's playing poker, so.
The interesting thing with Boston is
he didn't really... Sorry, I was going to make a point about Lindholm. Because, like, Lindholm didn't play that well under him. And
he didn't in the regular season, but he did in the postseason. But also in the playoffs, he had Connor Garland and Dakota Joshua as his wingers. And basically, I think if you put me as the center between those two, I could get you at least NHL average results. And I can barely skate.
I can't skate, so...
Yeah. Like, that... He was in a really good situation there. Nikita Zadorov is interesting because Zadorov... He had some rough regular season stretches here, but he also had some really good play. And then playoff Zadorov, oh my god.
Yeah, but it's Boston, so they're not getting back there in a while.
No, they're not getting back to the playoff, but can Tocchet bring some of that Zadorov out again because he's not had a good year in Boston.
I don't think anybody had a good year in Boston.
Someone must have somewhere. It's a big city.
Haha. Team Canada had a good year in Boston. They didn't get a February in Boston. Anyway.
I forgot where I was going. Anywho, Rick Tocchet will be employed again soon. Stay in the Pacific, please.
Sorry. Can't wait. So excited.
Yeah, I mean, going to be some thrilling hockey to watch whenever the Canucks are playing whichever team he's against. Can't wait to experience more Rick Tocchet hockey.
He was on the TNT panel on the weekend, and they had the panel on because it was one of the, I think it was Washington Carolina based on the day.
Mhm.
And yeah, they had him on the panel, and I was just like jump scared. Because I was like, I don't like hearing this man talk. Rick Tocchet jump scare. It was better yesterday. They had Pat Maroon on. And they had dividers to put Paul Bissonnette in a penalty box. It honestly hilarious. But anyway, I'm not
I
gonna
like when they have Henrik Lundqvist.
Yes, yeah. I really like Henrik Lundqvist, so I appreciate that panel. I also, on the Canada panel, I like Kevin Bieksa, so.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to this part of the conversation.
If not for Juice and Elliot Friedman, Hockey Night in Canada would be somewhat unwatchable.
Yeah. Anyway, playoffs. Are you ready to lay it on the line?
What if I crashed through the window?
What if you crashed through the window? You're so done, Uncle Keanu.
If I wanted to open a restaurant, would CBC also back me? Anyway.
When you have Tylenol, it's like Rogers. Having Nathan McKinnon. I don't know. I've had Tylenol. I don't feel like Nathan McKinnon's in my house. Anyway, in the last week since our last show, the Toronto Maple Leafs have taken a 2-0 lead in the series and have also blown the 2-0 lead in the series.
I feel like there's no better series to start with than that one right now. The Leafs seem on track to do the funny right now. We'll see what actually happens in the remaining up to 3 games of that series. What even the hell is going on in this series?
OEL knocked a guy out.
Yep.
And only got a minor for it. Which, kind of insane, but, like, I see where the refs were coming from with that. But yeah, Oliver Ekman-Larsson knocked a guy out. I was at a restaurant waiting to pick up food, and they had the game on a TV. And I just look up, and Evan Rodriguez is down, and OEL's going to the box, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened. And then I look on the internet later, and it's just like, OEL knocked a guy out. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. No, not that it's nice. It's just, I didn't mean it like that. I need a Tylenol. Where's Nathan McKinnon?
He's too busy laying it on the line. Anyway. So, series is at 2-2 right now. I, as someone who is cheering for the Florida Panthers in this series, had to watch what I would call the most cursed moment in my hockey fandom ever, watching Roberto Luongo celebrate a Brad Marchand playoff goal while Brad Marchand is playing for the Florida Panthers. Mm-hmm. Which alternate universe have we slipped into here?
I think, you know the movie 2012?
You cut out for a second, sorry.
Do you know the movie 2012?
No.
Okay.
I remember the year.
Okay, so there's this movie 2012 that came out, I think, a couple years before 2012, but it was like this entire apocalyptic scene is going to happen on December 21st, 2012. And I was in elementary school at the time, and everyone believed that it was actually going to happen. So before winter break that year, everyone was saying goodbye to each other. Anyway, so that's... I think this alternate universe is the 2012 situation actually happened, and this is the bad place. Because why do we have to witness this? It's absolutely... I hate it. As someone who's cheering for the Leafs in the series, I didn't like it, but I hated it a little bit more as a Canucks fan. Because I have no words. It just, a part of my heart just kind of like broke, you know? It's like, there's an imposter among us, you know? I don't know why I'm bringing in Among Us right now. Can you start talking?
Big game in Game 4 from future Canuck Sam Bennett.
I do not want him as a Canuck. I'm sorry.
I really want him as a Canuck.
I don't want him as a Canuck. He's
Sam
a
Bennett.
dirty player. He's a dirty player. Yeah, he can score.
Also really good.
He's also really good, but he's so much of a liability that I don't want him anywhere near this team.
I need more anger on this team sometimes.
Put me on then. Okay?
Didn't you admit on this show that you can't skate?
No. Do I have a pen? Where's a pen on my desk? I want to do the... This is not a pen thing. Not Back to the Future. Men in Black. Boom.
Where am I?
Okay, I was like, please tell me you've seen that. This is
I actually haven't, but I know the reference.
This is the
past.
North American Championship from NXT.
Nice. So 2-2 in that series right now. We'll talk about the other Eastern Conference series quickly. 3-1 Canes over the Capitals in the series right now. Last game being a 5-2 win for Carolina. I'm gonna be honest, I have not watched a single game of this series just because of primarily my work schedule getting in the way.
It's been a pretty good series. I don't know. I've fallen asleep during most of the games. I mean, it's been pretty good. Tom Wilson is being Tom Wilson.
That tracks.
But Carolina, I feel like they've been perennially the flowers that are come back every year. They're underrated every year. So I think that they deserve their flowers. I think they should get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And I don't know, my playoff bracket has a Carolina Winnipeg final. So anyway,
pretty good looking bracket right now. Let's get to the game the only playoff game that's being played tonight as of when we record this. It'll be between the Jets and the Stars in a series that is currently 2-1 Dallas.
Why is there only one game tonight?
That's a very good question. I was confused when I saw this as well.
That's stupid.
Yeah, so the Jets down 2-1 in the series. Where do we think this is going?
Connor Hellebuck, please remember that you are a Hart Trophy candidate, a Vezina definitely winner. Please, for the love of all that is holy, get it together. Here's the thing. I don't dislike the Dallas Stars either, but I really want Winnipeg to win because Luke Shen. Duh. So just Winnipeg, please. Mikko Rantanen, sure, he's good, I guess, but remind him that he left all of his friends behind, and then you're good. Get him with the sadness. I don't know where this is going.
Fair enough. Connor Hellebuck, on the one hand, is the best goalie on the planet. On the other hand, Connor Hellebuck is the reason that going into the Four Nations final, I felt totally relaxed and that Canada was going to win the game. Because the U.S. were reliant on Connor Hellebuck playing well in a big game.
Yeah.
And Austin Matthews playing well in a big game.
He's not good on the road. Or just in big games in general.
When the lights are on.
When he lays it on the line. I'm sorry.
Connor, lay it on the line.
Connor, please.
Take some Tylenol from Nathan McKinnon.
Exactly. Oh my god.
Don't crash through a window.
Don't play Fall Guys.
Watch some videos of a penguin or something.
Is it a penguin?
I thought it was in the one where Keanu is watching a penguin.
No.
Neapolitan ice. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he eating Neapolitan ice cream?
I thought it was Neapolitan. Why are we analyzing Rogers commercials?
I don't know.
Rogers,
why are they all Rogers commercials?
Because Sportsnet is Rogers.
Well, I know, but the ones that keep... Dead internet theory. Pause. I don't know where I'm going with this. Yeah, just Connor Hellebuck, please get it together. Win a game. Tie the series. Win it at home. You guys have home ice advantage for the next 3 if you do. in the next 3. So, please, thank you.
And then finally we'll talk about the series between the Oilers and the Golden Knights, which I'd just like to send a quick message to the Vegas Golden Knights. It's Stuart Skinner. Why did you get shut out?
Mr. Game 4! Mr. Game 4!
Thank God he has to play Game 5, too.
Oh my god. Mr. Game 4. Sam Bennett is so bald. Yeah. I don't know. Last night was a game and a half for the Edmonton Oilers. I just really cannot stand the Vegas Golden Knights, so...
Sorry, I'm going to cut this off with some kind of an update. It's not that serious, don't worry. Patrick Johnston says he believes the Canucks head coaching search is coming down to most likely 2 candidates, one of whom is Manny Malhotra. The other is Adam Foote. Kaja, initial thoughts?
That I don't think the Canucks management... Oh my god, my hair. I don't think the Canucks management has any thoughts.
Malhotra is also viewed as the slight favorite.
Okay, well, good. I hope so. I'm gonna do the rest of the show like this. I can't. I'm gonna keep following though. Okay. Yeah, that's Adam Foote.
It's, I like him as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
He'd be a great assistant coach for Manny to have. Or Marco Sturm, or Jay Woodcroft.
Or Todd Nelson.
Him as well.
Sorry.
Bring back Bruce.
Let the old man be an old man. Or, what's Blake Wheeler doing? He's on the Sportsnet panel, but like, is he retired?
Like, I thought he was still on the Rangers roster.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
I haven't, but I'm like, because I know he played last year with the. Oh, I cannot spell.
Also, speaking of coaching in the New York Rangers, so Mike Sullivan appears to be their next head coach, or is announced as their next head coach. I forget. Yes.
Okay. Blake Wheeler's a free agent.
Okay. What do you think about the rumors that John Tortorella could become an assistant coach for Mike Sullivan with the New York Rangers?
You know that meme of like that one person standing there, and then they have another like more little feral person on a leash? You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
I just heard the term feral person on a leash mentioned.
Well, it's like whoa. Fix my light.
Welcome back to a very chaotic episode of the Chroncast.
Yeah, so it's like a thing of like a person standing like this, and they're like calm and collected, right? And then there's a guy crouching like this, and he's like, "Rah," and he's on a leash. That's what the coaching tandem would be like. Please say something.
What?
I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's rare that I ask you a question and end up with more questions out of it.
Yeah.
I
don't know how else to describe it. Oh my god. Okay.
This episode is unhinged even by our standards.
Yeah.
Anyway, Edmonton's up 3-1 in the series. Vegas is... I don't even know. I didn't have a finish for that sentence. I was just hoping to find it along the way.
Maybe the end of the sentence is the friends we made along the way.
Vegas, pull yourselves together. It's Stuart Skinner.
No, just keep
That's
playing.
all I gotta say.
Just keep
I
doing
also saw Calvin Pickard's numbers in the playoffs. I've discovered something. They're not good.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize Calvin Pickard is still quite bad. It's just Stuart Skinner is...
Worse?
on a new planet of bad.
Yeah.
There's bad, and then there's how are you in the NHL?
I saw one thing that was like, it was like a bunch of memes about NHL playoff like superstitions and stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like Connor McDavid goes 14 hours in the Brazen Bull in order to endure Stuart Skinner playoff goaltending.
Yeah.
We'll see tonight though what the West can do. Winnipeg, please. Why does Mikko Rantanen have so many goals?
Yeah.
Put the Moose down.
That seems a little extreme.
His nickname's Moose.
Sorry, what did you say?
Put the Moose down. But not like euthanize Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
I don't mean that.
You were saying that. And
That's
I was like,
not
okay,
what I meant.
on.
I mean, like,
Hold
shut
on.
him down. What the hell do you think I am?
Why didn't you say shut the Moose down then?
Because I just thought that it worked better. I need a nap. This is going so well. Anyway, lay it all on the line. I need betting odds where it's just how many times.
What if Mikko Rantanen crashed through a window?
Yeah. Okay. Is that it for playoffs?
I think so.
Okay.
Do you have anything you wanted to mention about the playoffs?
Nope. Just
Cool.
laying it on the line.
Cool.
I'm so sorry.
Let's talk about the rumors of a potential further NHL expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Because we definitely need that again. So it seems like an owner in Atlanta, I forget who, was quoted as saying he's quite confident they will have an NHL team within the next, I don't remember how long it was, but that NHL will be expanding to Atlanta. Why?
Yeah, if they expanded, they'd have to have, like, way more teams added, unless they move a team. So, hear me out. We get Atlanta. We get Houston.
Yep.
Kansas City, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
And Quebec.
Now, the one thing with Quebec is famously when Atlanta gets a team, they end up in Canada.
Saskatoon, baby!
Well, I was going to say you could leave Quebec and just wait it out in Atlanta for the next 20 years, and then we have the Nordiques back eventually. Because, yeah, one of the logistical problems with expansion is 33 teams obviously doesn't work. You need an even number. 34 teams, hard to get that into divisions unless you want to go really weird with it. So the next expansion, you kind of need to work your way up to 36 teams.
Freaky NHL.
Which is not an easy number to work with.
Yeah, it kind of has to be divisible unless they want to like abolish divisions.
Yeah.
And like just do the 1 through 8 seeding. Which could work.
Yeah. But then divisions, I guess the other problem comes in terms of scheduling.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But like I could see them adding 2 teams to just doing the 1 through 8, and then they have like loose divisions, but it's not like official. This is how the playoffs work. But again, we probably would have to wait for another CBA at least.
Yeah.
Which is next year, I think.
I think so.
Yeah. I can't wait for it to not have NHL in 2026-27. Get ready.
That's what we need.
Get ready, folks.
Although less Canucks hockey might be good for us for a while. What? Anyway.
True.
Yeah, Atlanta just feels like it's an odd choice if you were going to expand. I get in terms of the market, it is one of the biggest markets, if not the biggest, in the continent that doesn't have, or within Canada and the U.S., that doesn't have an NHL team right now. But also, again, we've tried there twice, and we have that to thank for the Calgary Flames and the current iteration of the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah. I also think, like, the issue with Atlanta, especially the arena that they're looking to build right now, that would potentially host an NHL team, like that arena complex is not in like downtown Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's like calling a team like Vancouver something and then playing in Langley. That's kind of like the location wise, is it? So
or like being called Ottawa and playing in Canada.
Yeah.
Because that's caused zero problems.
That's caused zero problems. But it's kind of like that. So there could be some issues there with getting fan interest, and in a city that has already had to, and it's not saying that people didn't like the Flames or the Thrashers. Mm-hmm. It's that, like, specifically with the Thrashers, the ownership was the issue. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Third time's the charm, maybe.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I also think, like, in a place that's a non-traditional hockey market, like much of the Southern United States, having that downtown arena and not making it difficult for people to access hockey is so crucial to actually getting it off the ground.
Yeah.
To the point where if it is going to be 45 minutes out of town, I don't know how far out, but it's going to be a ways out of where the people actually are, that's going to be a problem.
Yes. Yeah,
so
definitely.
You're going to you'd need a really impressive marketing feat to be able to get people out there for a sport that's just not really doesn't really have much of a grip in the South. And that's not to say it's not possible. Like, Southern markets have done well. Like, look at the Nashville Predators more than anything else, I would say. And they've done really well. They've got a really good fan base. But I don't know how easy it's going to be to get that going in Atlanta. And again, you've had multiple failures there, so they wouldn't be first on my list.
I would say the Canes are also up there. I know in Georgia specifically, I am not familiar with the geographic locations of these places, but Georgia has a few, like, I don't know if they have any AHL teams, but I know they have a few ECHL teams in the state, and those are pretty popular. So
yeah,
could be interesting to see. But yeah, like the issue of getting people out there, you're gonna need a very big parking lot to entice Americans.
Yep. Put a Walmart near it too.
Put a Walmart. Put a
Bass Pro.
Move the pyramid from Memphis.
Move the pyramid. Now, important issue. If Atlanta were to get a team, what should they be called? The Thrashers branding is still owned by their previous owners, I believe, so you could, in theory, buy that from them if you want to bring the Thrashers back.
Thrashers
you could also do something new. Do you think they should go with Thrashers, or do you think they should pick a new name?
Oh, God. Here's the thing. All the teams, of the 3 newest team names in the NHL, only one of them is good. So, I don't trust, old men picking names for hockey teams. I think they should...
Which one do you consider good?
The Kraken.
Yeah, I think it's decent.
Okay. I was like...
It wasn't my favorite on the list of possible Seattle names, but it was fine.
Oh, I love it.
I'm also just biased against the team.
I don't know why. There's some part of me likes the Kraken, but like because of the potential for a rivalry.
Yeah, like I want them to succeed for long enough for us to be able to actually start really hating each other.
Exactly. We need a playoff series in order to get the rivalry as like an actual thing. Sorry.
I think it's not a bad rivalry right now, too. Like, there is clearly...
Oh yeah, they hate Tyler Myers. But their bigger rivals are Colorado because they play them in the playoffs. Yeah. And Cale Makar broke a guy's neck. But
I love watching Connor Garland play against Seattle too, because he just, like, I think he plays better at Climate Pledge than he does at any other arena in the NHL.
True.
Yeah.
Except for Mullet Arena, but that's not an NHL arena anymore.
Yeah, not much we can do about that one. Yeah, I don't know. With Atlanta, I liked the Thrashers branding, but also they were kind of a failure, so I don't know if you want to go back to that or try to start something new.
Atlanta Peaches. I get my peaches out in Georgia. Yeah. That's all I know. New York Islanders. That was my segue
right.
to the draft
No,
lottery.
that was a segue. Oh, okay. I completely
Not
missed
just
that.
me
That's
saying
on me.
New York Islanders.
I thought you were just saying New York Islanders.
Okay.
I'm also tired. The NHL, we'll talk about the other draft lottery in a little bit, but we'll talk about the NHL draft lottery first. Pretty crazy lottery here. So for the first time, they did it where they had the ping pong ball draw on TV rather than doing that beforehand and just flipping cards, which was not suspicious whatsoever. And the New York Islanders jump up, I forget how many spots, but a bunch, to the first overall pick, and the Utah Mammoth, that still sounds weird, jump up. I like it, it just sounds weird. Jump up 10 spots to the 4th overall pick. Everyone else holds or falls. The Canucks continue to... I believe the Canucks have never moved up in a draft lottery in franchise history.
Yeah, that tracks. That's our luck. Like, we were supposed to have 1st overall, and then because they like the Buffalo owners better, they got 1st overall in 1970. So. Yep.
Canuck luck from the very beginning.
They never wanted us to join the league in the first place. So.
Yeah. So, the Islanders will now have the 1st overall pick. Kaja, thoughts on the lottery?
I did not realize that they had not done the thing where they have the balls on TV ever. I find it really funny that it's the New York Islanders of all teams, and they do not have a general manager. Yeah. You know what would make the Pacific Division even better? If the Edmonton Oilers hired Lou Lamoriello. No, the Vegas Golden Knights. The Vegas Golden Knights should hire Lou Lamoriello. Anyway,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fun. I hope Bo Horvat has fun. I don't think about the New York Islanders, so.
Yeah. Happy for Bo. Assuming Matthew Schaefer will end up being the 1st overall pick just because of their need for a defenseman in the organization and no clear top overall pick this year. Utah moving up to 4 was another surprise. Happy as a Canucks fan that no other Pacific Division teams moved up. That would have been really fun to deal with. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll begin some draft coverage at Canucks Chronicles very soon, so stay tuned for that.
I'm just like, the draft class this year isn't as good, so I'm like,
it's not the strongest.
I'm not as worried overall, to be fair.
Next year with Gavin McKenna and everything, it'll be a little more interesting.
Yeah. No offense to all the teenagers, but because remember, these are literal children that we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because, the NHL...
They're still infinitely better at hockey than I am, or you are, or pretty much anyone listening to the show is.
Oh, no, I know. I'm just... Well...
But, like...
that some arguments could be made for some past Canucks draft picks. And of course I'm talking about... My first thought went to Thatcher Demko, but I'm like, I was going to say it was Thatcher Demko or Brock Besser. That was going to be the bit, but it's not. I don't want to disparage Brock Besser in any way, so. He's going to be... Sorry.
Also, it seems like the Canucks are... I completely forgot to add this to the doc. It seems like the Canucks are trying to make a final push to re-sign Besser, but that Besser seems to want to test free agency due to out of frustration with the organization.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Completely fair.
I am so
Completely
shocked.
fair.
I am so shocked that he doesn't want to stay with the organization that has treated him like garbage for a decade. I need to calm down.
Should we shift off hockey?
No, I'm so shocked that he doesn't want to stay with the general manager that was like, yeah, he's not good. We couldn't get anything for him. Baldy. Okay. He's bald, and he's torturing people who have hair. Anyway, the Dallas Mavericks got first overall in the NBA, because that makes sense.
Yeah, so the NBA also had their draft lottery, which I learned was happening after it had happened. The Dallas Mavericks jump up. I believe they had 1.8% odds of landing the first overall pick. The basketball gods decided to do the funniest thing anyone has ever done. and keep Nico Harrison employed. What? Even
You know who the Dallas Mavericks need? Lou Lamoriello. But yeah, no, I saw that, like, after everything that Mavs fans have been, I don't know if this makes it better or worse. Because, like, you lose Luka, but then you also cement that you're going to continue having your awful GM who traded Luka Doncic because he's like, oh yeah, I don't like him because he's fat or something. Some BS reason like that. Like, Nico, you get out on the court, okay? It's not like basketball's hard physically. It's not! Look at me and tell me it is! Look, if it works, Nikola Jokic is like a NBA MVP, right? One of the best current basketball players. Tell me he looks like a professional athlete. Like, and I say that as a Jokic fan, okay? Because I, like, have to be. But it's, like, nationally obligated. But at the same time, just, you get on the court, Nico. No. Anyway, I don't know that much about basketball. I just know that people do not like this man, and that's warranted. I think he's worse than Jim Benning. I said it.
Okay, hold on.
I said it.
Jim had an 8-year precedent of this. Okay. The Luka trade, I would say, is worse than any one thing Benning did. Benning just has him on accumulation.
He has... Okay, I get it. I mean, he has the Benning accumulation of horrible trading. He has the Jim Rutherford of never shutting up.
Yes.
He's like their bastard child.
We haven't heard from Jim Rutherford in like a week and a half now, and I'm a little scared.
Nap time.
I just wonder what's going to happen when he speaks next.
Oh, God.
He's now got a week's worth of pent up, haven't said anything.
Over under how many free agents are we going to lose?
I'm going to set the line at 4.5.
Good number.
Yeah.
I can't wait to sign Blake Wheeler.
Let's pivot into the rest of the sports world like we already did. Let's go to F1. Alpine, there are not words to describe Alpine Formula One team. So first of all, their old team principal, Ollie Oakes, is out and has been replaced by Flavio Briatore. And
that worked out so well. Sorry.
One of their drivers, Jack Doohan, is out of a job and has been replaced by Franco Colapinto on a 5-race contract.
Okay, I have my thoughts. Okay, first of all, Oliver Oakes, they did a Meet the Team Principals thing on the F1 YouTube channel, and he said his goal was to survive until Spa. He did not survive until Spa. But then again, he resigned because apparently he went to Dubai to try and figure out some stuff, legal stuff with his brother. The Mazepins are also involved, allegedly. I don't know what's going on in any of this stuff, but it's just, like, perfectly Alpine. And then Flavio Briatore, who is also apparently Jack Doohan's agent, fires Jack Doohan after 6 races. And Jack Doohan, did he have a great start? No, he's also in an Alpine, and they put in Franco Colapinto, who, need I remind you, in 4 less races, cost Williams more money than Logan Sargent did. And you can have your thoughts about Logan Sargent, but, like, come on, man.
So what you're saying is they should have put Logan Sargent in.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, that's who's going to come in next. It's going to be Paul Aaron. Paul Aaron's getting the boot after 7. Logan Sargent's coming in. He's getting, 2. They're bringing Daniel Ricciardo out of retirement just for a race. And then you know who they're going to call up? Kimi Räikkönen's son.
I thought it was going to be Nicholas Latifi, and he was then going to win the Drivers' Championship in like 2 races.
Right. Forgot about the GOAT. My apologies. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. First of all, Jack Doohan, you deserve so much better than Alpine. And yeah, he made mistakes, but Liam Lawson makes mistakes all the time, and he got promoted to Red Bull. So, okay. Alpine.
Race week right now for the Formula One AWS Gran Premio del Made in Italy de Emilia Romagna 2025 Grand Prix, aka Imola.
Yep.
Just wanted to say that.
It's the first of a triple header.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm excited. I hope Yuki finally succeeds in Italy, especially because like this is where he lives. So I'm like it's his like second home race. So I'm like I'm like crossing my fingers for him. But other than that, Alpine is the most French team you've ever seen. You know. Yeah.
After this, Imola will be followed by, on the triple header, the Monaco Parade and the Spanish Grand Prix.
At the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya.
Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya.
Let's go.
Monaco will just be out on the road.
Yeah, where Charles Leclerc had his middle class upbringing. Monte Carlo, which is a movie with Selena Gomez.
Middle class upbringing.
Middle class upbringing.
Don't make jokes about that. He had to share the family Mercedes.
Like the Monaco Parade. I can't wait to see Pierre Gasly crash into his teammate again. Who do you think wins Monaco this year?
I mean, whoever qualifies on pole.
True.
Given
Piastri.
Overtaking is strictly prohibited. I'm going to go a little off the board here. His team have been a mess this season, but I am going to take Charles Leclerc to go back-to-back in Monaco at his home races. Purely because he just got his Monaco curse off his back last year, and now I think he's going to be a little looser and be able to do it again.
Okay, I'm going to pivot from that. Lewis Hamilton takes it, and that creates inner turmoil in Ferrari, and then they get rid of Charles Leclerc. Because drama, they need something to fill Drive to Survive with this season.
I think they'd get rid of Lewis before they got rid of Charles.
Oh, I know. Charles, their little princess.
Their boy.
As a Ferrari fan. Yeah, he is. He's the prince of Ferrari. He's like, they treat him like a princess. I'm not exaggerating like this. Like, no offense. But, like, seriously. You know what? No, I'm going off the board with my pick. I think it's going to be Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is going to get pole, and he's going to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Book it now. And then we have a week off, and then we have Canada. There's 3 F1 Academy races, so make sure to watch those.
Mm-hmm. I'm still confused about how this schedule works, where they have 3 European races, Montreal, and then go back to Europe.
Because they are good. They have to pretend to be climate conscious, you know?
Yeah. You're not really doing a great job when you're making them go from Europe to Canada to Europe.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Now, important lesson for anyone who's unaware, Canada is not part of Europe.
Yet.
Canada is not part of the European continent.
Okay, that works. We're trying hard, man.
So, yeah, I don't know who makes these schedules, but it's... wow.
MBS. He made
also,
them while attending the birth of Max Verstappen's child.
We talked about Oscar... We mentioned Oscar Piastri's name. I put this in the doc. I think Oscar Piastri might be the anti-Daniel Ricciardo. I love Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo, one of my good friends and former Chroncast host, Zach Mason, referred to Daniel Ricciardo once as the king of bad career decisions.
Has Zach met me?
I think Oscar Piastri, through one major career decision, is batting 1,000 so far here, leaving the hot mess that is Alpine and joining McLaren right as they got good.
Yeah. Again, yeah.
It's been a minute.
I think Oscar Piastri is just good luck, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, he joined McLaren and immediately not immediately, but
soon after they got good again. And Alpine
proves that
went further down the drain.
Yeah, Lando Norris, not good luck. This is proof Lando Norris has bad juju. I'm sorry, Lando Norris. Anti Ricardo, I think that's I understand. It's a bit harsh.
I love Daniel.
So this just means Oscar...
The man made some poor decisions.
Yeah. This just means Oscar Piastri hates Josh Allen. They're from opposite sides of the country too, right?
I have no idea which part of Australia either of them is from.
I think Oscar's from Melbourne.
Melbourne.
And then Ricardo's from Perth.
Danny is from Perth.
Yeah, which are opposite sides of
Perth
Australia.
Is Western Australia.
Yeah, and then Melbourne is
Oscar,
the other side.
I'm verifying that he is from Melbourne. Yes, he is. Very good.
Melbourne, okay. Yeah, is like southwest. It's like
southeast.
Thank you, southeast. Yeah, it's like southwest of Sydney, which is on the east coast. So, yeah. Just not the capital of Australia.
It's Canberra.
Yes, it is.
So now we're going to get into a part of the show that's going to be rather interesting for me because I watched 0 seconds of the Vancouver Whitecaps game over the weekend and have only seen a single highlight. However, the Vancouver Whitecaps drew 2-2 to LAFC at BC Place. Kaja, you watched most of the game, you said?
I watched the second half.
Game? Okay. That's half of the game more than I watched, so what were your thoughts on what you saw?
I mean, good. Yeah, if it was a Vanni Sartini game, we would have lost 5-1. I like how we kept in it and, didn't let LAFC walk all over us because they often do, or try to at least. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. It was an overall meh game, but from the Whitecaps, but also the pen that was awarded to Bouanga didn't necessarily help with that. Was it a pen? Probably. I'm not a professional soccer referee or football referee. But you know what? It's okay. We got a point. We move. We're still at the top of the league. We're 5 places away from Miami. I can't believe I'm talking about the Vancouver Whitecaps.
I don't know where the Vancouver Whitecaps went, but I kind of don't want them back. I want to keep this club. I don't know who they are, but I like them.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Jesper made some questionable decisions in the lineup with starting Vite where he was. And then Vite was subbed off at the half because, according to Andrew Wiebe, he had toe problems. That's what he said on the broadcast. Yeah. Apparently he was wearing flip-flops. No clue what's going on there. Go get your pedicure, dude. But, yeah. I don't know. It was a good game. Brian White. Jesus. And then... yeah, it's still insane to think that this is the team without Ryan Gauld as well.
Yeah.
Because, if you compare it to the Canucks, without Quinn Hughes, we're nothing. Even to the Whitecaps last season, without Ryan Gauld, we would be absolutely dead.
Yeah, but totally.
This year, it's just we haven't had him in 13 games, 14 games, they said?
Something like that?
In all competitions, obviously, but...
I don't know what they said. I wasn't watching.
They said 13 or 14. I just cannot remember for the life of me what it was. Yeah. This is a massive team, and that's why I think the Canucks should go with a coach from Denmark for... Make it a triple. The Rise have one too.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's so weird. This club, like you said, it's just so weird. I do not recognize what I'm watching. LAFC still, from years past, put the fear of God in me whenever the Whitecaps play them, just because, let's face it, they kind of own us.
Unless it was November... Oh, what was the date of that game? The playoff game where we won 3-0.
Yeah, and even then we lost the series.
Well, yeah, but still, that was a fun game.
Yeah. That just... The fact that I see results, a game ending 2-2 with LAFC, and I'm kind of disappointed, shows how far we've come. Because last year, if we got a 2-2 with LAFC, that was basically a win.
I would have celebrated harder than the 1-1 draw with Seattle.
Yeah, no.
Off a pen in extra time.
We were both at that 1-1 draw
Yeah.
against Seattle. That was the most shameless behavior I've ever seen from a fan base, and I'm proud to have been part of it.
Oh, yeah.
God, this is weird. Yeah, instead of watching the Caps game, I was watching the mighty Altitude FC, where our women's team won 4-0 and our men's team won 3-0 against Evolution FC, so pretty good.
That's the Coquitlam team.
Yes.
Cool.
I don't know why they're called Evolution. That's their choice, though.
Because they couldn't use their normal academy name. Right?
They couldn't, but...
They could have chosen, like, Coquitlam FC or something.
Why not Coquitlam FC or something? We have Burnaby FC, we have other teams that
Langley
are just place
United.
names. Sorry?
Langley United.
Langley United, Nanaimo United, Kamloops United. We have a lot of Uniteds.
Manchester United.
No, they're not good enough to play in League 1 BC.
Yeah.
Anyway, so not a whole lot else to talk about today. It's a fairly quiet day, and we're both quite tired, so we're gonna just do one more thing and wrap up the show a little early. Kaja has a football question.
Mm-hmm.
I do not know what this question is, and we're gonna find out live on air.
It's specifically for you.
Oh boy.
Can you explain the Trent Alexander-Arnold situation in hockey terms?
This is a hard one to figure out. I gotta think about this a little bit. So, I'll give a little backstory for anyone listening who's unaware. First of all, I am a Liverpool supporter. Liverpool's right back, Trent Alexander-Arnold, has just run down his contract and will be signing for Real Madrid on a free-to-play there next season. I'll give you my thoughts on that after I've tried to formulate an answer to this question. I'm trying to come up with a very specific example because Trent's got a fairly specific set of circumstances around him. So let's say the Canucks had... Let's say Nils Höglander, rather than being from Sweden, he was born and raised in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what? This is what we'll use. John Tavares. Let's say John Tavares was born on Long Island.
Oh, God.
Like, born on Long Island, grew up an Islanders fan, Islanders for life. As he hits his free agency year, doesn't negotiate with the Islanders, says he wants his extension to be off-season business or whatever, doesn't talk to the team, runs down his contract, doesn't say anything ahead of the deadline, doesn't give them a chance to sell him, doesn't publicly say anything toward the fan base about what he's doing. The moment he hits free agency, signs with a rival team, like he actually did.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happened, because you have Trent, who is a boyhood Liverpool fan, boyhood academy, like former Liverpool academy captain and everything. Gets to a year out on his contract, doesn't negotiate anything with the club, doesn't communicate anything with the fan base, where other key players also had expiring contracts, and they were very open in the media saying, like, we want to stay, we want to be at Liverpool, everything like that. Trent says nothing, immediately signs with a rival, signs it and announces it during an active title race. And it's Real Madrid of all clubs, which is a real slap in the face because Liverpool he's come up against Real Madrid in multiple Champions League finals and important Champions League games, and they've beaten us multiple times in those. Effectively, Trent is dead to me. No, not effectively. Trent is dead to me.
Okay.
And I'm so glad I don't have to pretend he's good defensively anymore. And I'm going to be watching El Clasico next year in a Barca shirt, watching Rafinha eat him alive on that right flank.
Okay.
I have thoughts.
Okay, I can see that.
I will also say, so last game, when he was announced as part of the Liverpool squad, the fans booed him at Anfield. I don't know that I love that, because he is still an active player, and, like, you know, you don't necessarily want to put the active player off his game. But also the title's secured.
Yeah, I'm like, you have the title.
The games are kind of decorative at this point.
You have the title, and he also, like, he's the one who made the decision to publicly come forward and say this before the season was over. He can deal with the consequences.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, in La Liga next season, Visca Barça.
Yep.
I have multiple Barca shirts, too. It's not like I have to buy one.
Okay.
My first jersey I ever owned was a Barca jersey.
So, Real Madrid, that's the one that Mbappe went to, right?
Yes.
Okay. And he was also not good this year.
Mbappe was not great this year, no.
Okay.
Real Madrid, I heard them described as basically being a populist government in that they just have to spend money like it's the end of the world every time to keep their fans happy.
Okay. Were they one of the Super League teams?
They were probably the single most vocal of the Super League teams.
Okay, that's why I'm trying to, like, I don't follow European football as closely. Apologies, but I'm trying to place it because I watched a documentary about the Super League, and I was like, yeah, I think it was Madrid, but I'm gonna, yeah, and that's Carlos's team, right? Carlos Sainz.
I think.
I know he's also a Man United fan.
Oh.
Wait, let me check. I have to check because he's from Madrid.
Okay, then probably be a Real fan.
Okay.
Could be an Atleti fan, but.
Carlos Sainz.
I hate that the Europa League final is between Man United and Tottenham, because now to stop Man United from winning a trophy, even if it's like not that big of a trophy and they're still terrible, we're relying on Tottenham winning a trophy.
Okay. Alonso and Carlos Sainz are Madrid fans. Lewis Hamilton, or how bsoccer.com wrote about him 9 years ago, Lewis Hamilton, Barcelona. Just 9 years ago. Yeah. Sorry, this is a clip this is from 2022. Real Madrid fan and F1 driver Carlos Sainz rejects fans' Barcelona shirt.
Oh, yeah. Someone got to try to sign a Barcelona shirt.
Yes. Carlos Sainz's wife. Lando Norris. James Vowles. Speaking of conflict of interest.
Anywho, did I successfully explain Trent leaving in hockey terms with the John Tavares metaphor?
Yes, I get it. It's kind of like...
Yeah.
I'm picturing it as if John Tavares was homegrown and raised Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Which, like, he's from Toronto and then left to play for, like, Boston or something without telling anybody. Except, like, I understand...
Boston or Florida probably would have been the most accurate metaphor for with Toronto.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it. I also understand, like, the Islanders reference, but yes.
Yeah.
So he's just, so it doesn't really make sense why he's doing this?
No. I guess, like, he wanted, like, Real Madrid is the biggest club on the planet, so I can get it from that perspective. But also, like...
What do you mean, it's not Tottenham?
No. Are you a Spurs fan?
I don't know. I just kind of follow for the vibes, and
You chose Tottenham for the vibes?
I'm a Canucks and Ferrari fan. The vibes are usually suffering. And a Blue Jays
Why
fan.
did you pick more suffering?
I don't know. This is the Chroncast. I'm not meant to be psychoanalyzed.
We'll just leave that one to Dr. Helmut Marko as we begin to wrap up the show.
He's the doctor.
He's a doctor. Thank you everybody for listening. You can check us out at Nux Chronicles on Instagram. Check out our work online. You can find me at Alex_Rick03 on Instagram. Kaja, where can people find you?
You can find me, Kaja May, pretty much everywhere. May with an E, Kaja with the J, because that makes sense. Yeah, that's basically it. You can also find me under your floorboards.
So thank you to Dr. Helmut Marko for listening, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, you are dead to me. Thanks for listening, everyone. Goodbye.